How to invest in real estate without being a landlord. I'm Ted Thomas. I'm going to give you a lot of great information. Now, this particular episode is how to invest in real estate without being a landlord. Now, imagine doing the work once and getting paid for 10 years. That's what you're going to learn this time. Imagine doing the work once and getting paid for 10 years. In this video, you're going to learn some simple strategies that I started doing years ago. You could buy real estate for 60, 70, and 80% discounts with no mortgage. Now, I know you don't believe that, so let me just say it again. Buy real estate with 60, 70, and 80% discounts and with no mortgage. Now, there's a lot of real estate ideas out there, but most of them are based on retail investment strategies. I'm going to show you tested and proven wholesale investment strategies that you need to use. That's how the professionals do it. That's how I do it. That's the way you want to do it. So let's learn wholesale investment strategies. Now, big mistakes are made all the time at the auction. So I'm going to run out of time in this video, and when I do, before I do that, I wanted you to hang in there, because at the very end, I'm going to tell you about the two big mistakes that people make at real estate auctions, and you want to avoid those so that you won't lose thousands and thousands of dollars. I'll be right back. Now, there's many different ways to make money in real estate. Now, I'm going to share with you strategies that I've been doing for over 30 years, and you can take advantage of these no matter what the economy. So it doesn't matter whether the economy is roaring up or it's crashing down, these strategies will work. You need this as your foundational real estate education so that you'll do well in the future. So my name is Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in real estate for over 60 years. However, I've been involved in tax liens and tax deeds, which is my specialty. I've been involved in that for 30 years. 25 of those years, I've been teaching people just like you how to make money and get discounts of 60, 70, and 80% discounts. And you'll see that in my videos. Now, the real estate markets are just like the metal markets, but people don't see it. So the metal market kind of goes up and it kind of goes down. It's like the ocean. It's always going up and down. So the gold market goes up and down. The stock market actually is going up and down. You're going to see the oil market up and down. Well, real estate actually does the same thing, but people don't always see that. So the real estate market might take a long time to get up, but it can come down pretty darn fast. So what you want to have is you need some strategies, which I'm going to give you now. These are wholesale strategies where you're in for the long term, but we're going to buy it low, and we might sell it low, but we're going to buy it low so we're protected. Now, when I say buy it low, I'm talking about 60, 70, and 80% discounts. And in some cases, it's even more than that. Now, if you want to know what the market is where you are, and you'd like to know what tax liens pay the state where you are, just put a note below me and say, Ted, tell me what tax liens pay in my state, or any other question that you might have, and I'll answer those questions, and I'll send you a little gift. All right, meanwhile, I'm going to go back to this episode. It's all about how to invest in real estate without being a landlord. All right, now, this strategy that I'm going to share with you has been around for a long time. It's not being a landlord. Landlording is difficult. Why? Because the markets change. If the market is overbuilt, the rents drop down. If the market's underbuilt, well, the rents start to go up, but then all the people start complaining and say, now you get challenged. All right, so financing can be a big risk. Landlording can be a big risk. So it's not always so easy to just buy and rent. Now, when you listen to those late night television programs, it always looks, buy and fix up looks easy, buy and rent looks easy. It's not. So let's show you a very professional approach to this, where we're going to get involved not at retail, we're going to get involved at the wholesale, and we're going to learn how to create some value. So over 200 years ago, I didn't create it. Over 200 years ago, the government created a challenge for anybody that didn't pay their taxes. Now, that challenge simply is this. If you don't pay your taxes, the government is going to confiscate your property. So we have 3,000 counties in the United States. All of those counties must charge property tax to pay their bills. Now, if they're going to charge property tax and you don't pay it, well, I can tell you right now, they're either going to issue a tax lien certificate or they're going to confiscate the property. Now, about half of those states will confiscate the property. And when they do, they don't want the property. But they're going to evict you, and then what they're going to do is they're going to put it into the marketplace at 10, 20, or 30 cents on the dollar. Now imagine you buying properties for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar with no mortgage, because that's the way they're sold. So some county auctions will have 1,500 or 2,000 properties. For example, I'm going to reach over here and I'll just hold it up. This is a book from Los Angeles of all the properties that are at auction, and one of the auctions they do each year. Sometimes they'll do two. There's over 1,500 properties just in this book that will be sold for the back taxes. Now, I've been to those auctions, and sometimes there's 2,500 properties. So I'm underestimating all. But every county in the United States will have properties to sell. So let me pick another place on the other side of the country. All right, now I'm just going to take an auction brochure from one county. I just showed you one county. It was Los Angeles. This is a county in New York called Sullivan County. Now, I have a big stack of these here. Okay, now Sullivan County had 300 properties for auction this past year. 300. They're all sold for the back taxes with no mortgage. So my point is, there's an abundance of property, absolute abundance of property. Any one of you could be buying these properties for 60%, 70%, 80% discounts. Think about that. Where are you going to get a discount on real estate? It's very hard. It's hard to just buy at retail, let alone trying to buy with a 60, 70, 80% discount and no mortgage. All right, so if you're buying at starting prices 10, 20 cents on the dollar, you've got a good place to start. Now you're going to be able to buy it low and sell it low. If you buy it low and sell it low, what if you decided to buy it low and then sell it with installments? Now you could get checks coming in again and again. Well, I happen to like that system of selling on installments. So what do? I buy it low, then I sell it on installments. That simply means that what's going to happen to me is I'm going to put my money in a small investment, and then over a period of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, I'm going to be getting a check every month. So what if I invested $3,000 or $4,000 and then I sold it for $60,000? Wow, that's a lot of margin. Well, that's happening every day in the tax defaulted business. Now I'm going to finish up right now, but I have time for 2 questions. Okay, so people ask, what should they do to get started? Should they start with land? Should they start with residential, commercial? Well, I'd say forget about commercial because it's probably going to be a lot of money, but I'm not negative on commercial. I like to see people buy residential homes and try to get them with 60 and 70% discounts. I like that business. My favorite, my absolute favorite, is to buy residential land. By that I mean there's a house here, there's a house here, but in between they didn't sell that house. So most people were conceived in a house. So that means they grew up in that house. So they grew up in a house. When they get out of that house, they go to an auction. What do you think they're thinking about? They're thinking about houses because they know about houses. Not me. I don't want to buy a house. You could have termites. You could have broken windows. You could have damage. I want to buy residential lots. Why do I want to buy those? Here I am telling you on television. Why do I want to buy them? Because nobody else does. So if the lot's worth $20,000 and I can get it for $2,000, I got a nice margin. Okay, so what do we offer to new investors? That must be my shill in the audience asking that question, right? So I'm going to tell you. First of all, we have basic courses on tax lien certificates and tax deed. Now, there's nothing basic about the business anymore because now along the way, we teach you how to use a computer and how to use to do research and so on. But we have what you call basic courses. Then most people that decide they're going to do this on a regular basis, well, they say, gee, Ted, can you get me a coach? So we have actual classes every day we give you. We have actual coaching that we give you once a week. Those are all givens. Anybody gets involved. But most people want to get a little bit more involved than that even, so they want a personal coach. So we have personal coaches to help you. We have 3 days event we do. And then there are some people that are adamant they want to learn fast, they want to learn deep, they want to go deep right away, and they want to go to auctions. So we give them all of what I've already just told you, plus we hold their hand and take them to auction. Now, we can't take 50 people. Those are not, but we take 5 people at a time with a few coaches, and they hold their hand, and they actually go out and look at the property, and then they go and bid on them, and they get properties. Do they always get one? No, not if they go too high, but they get them with as much training as we can give them. So that's what we do. We do everything involved with tax lien certificates and tax deeds. Let's talk about those 2 big mistakes. You don't want to make these mistakes. So here they are. I'll make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible. Mistake number one that costs newcomers and experienced investors a lot of money. I mean, a lot. They lose money at these auctions. And why do they lose money? Because they bid on properties they haven't seen. So mistake number one, don't bid on a property unless you've had boots on the ground, eyes on the property, or you've had someone that you know look at that property. And I mean recently, a few days before the auction. Don't be looking at properties a month and then buying them a month later, because there could have been a fire, there could have been a hurricane, could have been a windstorm. I could go on and on. The point is, don't buy properties if you haven't looked at them. Now, that was mistake number one. Now let's cover mistake number two. Very similar mistake. You go to the auction, you're really excited, someone beats you out of a property and spends too much, but you don't get that one, so now you're really determined. And what do? You start bidding on properties that are on a list, but you haven't thought about an exit strategy. What's an exit strategy? You know what you're going to sell it for. Don't buy a property unless your exit strategy is in your brain. In other words, you know what you can sell it for. If you don't know what you're going to sell it for goodness sake, don't just bid to win. You want to bid because you want to make profit. Those are the two big mistakes. I want you to avoid those. I have a gift for you, and this is a nice gift that you can get started right away, and it's all about tax lien certificates and tax deeds, all on video, so it'll be really easy. And what do I call this gift? I call this gift a quick start to getting started. Just remember the name Quick Start, and when I finish, just go below me and you can register, and that'll be my gift to you. That'll get you started with tax lien certificates and the big profits in tax defaulted properties. See you there.